Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, you don't know. Pipe Dream was Rodgers and Hammerstein's 8th musical. They had preceded it with such hits as Oklahoma, Carousel, State Fair, The King and I, South Pacific, and yet when Pipe Dream opened on Broadway, the Shubert Theater, in 1955, it turned out to be one of their biggest failures. It ran on Broadway for only a season, and then it was put away and barely heard from again, and yet it is a lost treasure that deserves to be rediscovered. It is based on 2 novels by John Steinbeck. It's a wonderful collaboration of Rodgers, Hammerstein, and Steinbeck about a group of gritty, lovable characters on California's North Pacific coast. The original cast included William Johnson, Judy Tyler, and Metropolitan Opera star Helen Traubel. Helen Traubel envied her friend Ezio Pinza, who had a great success on Broadway and South Pacific, and she hoped for her own success as her leading role in Pipe Dream. For about 50 years, really, Pipe Dream was barely heard from. It was done occasionally by adventurous theaters around America, and then it was resurrected gloriously at Encores, the great New York City Center concert series, in March of 2012, yielding a beautiful recording and a rediscovery of this musical. And finally, Pipe Dream is coming to London, the first professional stage production of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Pipe Dream, coming to the Union Theatre this summer.
What we'd like to do here at the Union is present big musicals in a small space, the unexpected, and rather than make them miniature versions of a West End production, we have a very distinctive style in here, and we create pieces of work that suit the space and suit the music, and Pipe Dream is a perfect one for us to do here.
We at Rodgers and Hammerstein love the Union Theatre. We love the commitment the Union has to finding musicals that frankly aren't that well known and bringing them back to life and bringing them back to the passionate London theatre goers. And it's always been a personal pipe dream of mine that the Union might one day do a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, and now the Union is doing Rodgers and Hammerstein's Pipe Dream.
Lizzie and I first worked together 5 years ago when we did a small production of Pirates Penzance here at the Union, and we worked really well together. We work alongside each other in every single rehearsal space. We hardly have to explain ourselves to each other, and we have a very intuitive relationship where she knows what I want and I know how she works, and so it makes the whole process really easy. Pirates went on to have a great life, touring to some big venues in London, and then we had 2 months in Australia, culminating in a 4-week run in Sydney, sitting on press night in Sydney Theatre with Lizzie G, Kate Blanchett, Andrew Upton, a full house of 1,000 people, and a standing ovation. Lizzie and I just sort of looked at each other, tears in our eyes, and you knew that it couldn't get much better than that. When this opportunity came up to do Pipe Dream, Rodgers and Hammerstein, I knew that I had to work with Lizzie again.
Sasha contacted me with the proposal of doing Pipe Dream for choreography, and she handed me the CD of the Encores version, and it was mainly the music and the score and the beautiful songs that attracted me to wanting to choreograph it.
I didn't know anything about Pipe Dream whatsoever.
Nothing at all.
Never heard of it.
Google is my friend when it came to Pipe Dream.
Absolutely, the way forward. And I hadn't really heard, it was only then that I heard some of the songs. But again, I've kind of just got into rehearsal and just heard the rest of the score, which is beautiful. But I kind of didn't really know very much about it, and it was actually quite difficult to even find information about it, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's not a lot. I think because it disappeared for quite some time, it kind of went off the chart. And considering when it was written, right after Oklahoma and stuff, it's weird that there is so little knowledge about it. You start to light a cigarette, and all at once you love her. You've scarcely talked, you've scarcely met, yet all at once is a marine biologist. He's kind of a very educated guy. We're not quite sure how or why he's ended up in Cannery Row, but he has. The people of the town tend to kind of turn to him in cases of emergencies and things, not that there are many, but he kind of buries his head in the sand quite a bit.
And I'm Susie, and she's a wonderfully refreshing character who's a mini whirlwind, and she comes into these Doc's world and everybody else's world and just shakes everything up. And she's feisty and she's headstrong and she's not wet like most other female characters, which is just fantastic.
It's most definitely a love story at its heart, a real good old-fashioned love story, the kinds that don't seem to be written very much anymore. It's about acceptance, it's about accepting who you are, it's about not burying your head in the sand, and just taking a look at what is around you and seeing it for the first time.
As theater lovers, it's almost impossible to find a new Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. We thought we knew them all. So for me, the joy of Pipe Dream is, in essence, discovering a new Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. You will recognize through the melodies and through the lyrics that this is a Rodgers and Hammerstein show, but you've probably never heard it before. So every time I hear the great score of Pipe Dream, it's as if I'm discovering something new.
So hopefully the kind of audiences will attract people that are ready for seeing a refreshed, revived version of Pipe Dream. I've worked with Sasha before as a team, and we like to reinvent things, think out of the box, and hopefully we're going to do that with this show.
Pipe Dream is about breaking out of your own boundaries, and that you might be different to everybody else who's around you, but that even though you are different, and even if you have barriers that you've got up, that it kind of panders to that romantic notion that we all have, that there's somebody that will break down those barriers.
It has its own tone, it has its own style, but it's still quintessentially Rodgers and Hammerstein. There's a beautiful song at the beginning of the score. It takes all kinds of people to make up a world, and that is such a beautiful Hammerstein philosophy, as timely today as it was in 1950.